Well, joining me now live from Capitol Hill, Republican Senator from North Dakota, Kevin Cramer. Senator, thanks for joining us this afternoon.
My pleasure.
The bill that was released last night, I know there's a whole slew of amendments that are going to be voted on shortly. Do you expect at the end that there will be any significant changes to what was announced and voted on last night, or is this pretty much the deal?
Well, great question. I suspect that after 30, 40, maybe or more amendment votes, that the bill is going to look an awful lot like it looks right now. Unless there are some technical things that have to be changed, I would expect it to be very, very similar to what the text is, and I'd say why not? A lot of hard work, a lot of discussion, a lot of debate, a lot of collaboration with our House friends and with leadership and with the White House has led to the product that's on the floor right now. And I'm with the president and others who say that the most important thing right now is to pass the bill.
Are you concerned at all about the future in the House? I know that you and other Republicans have talked about the consultations that have gone on with House leadership in crafting this version, but the bill is somewhat different, significantly different in other areas than what the House sent you guys over a few weeks ago.
You know, it's really not all that different. It was interesting listening to Chad's hit there where he talked about House Republican or House conservatives are concerned because they thought the Senate would make the bill better. And then you go to Senate conservatives who think it doesn't go far enough. When you have that kind of sort of different views, I think we found the sweet spot pretty well. We were clearly more aggressive when it comes to Medicaid and Medicaid abuses and than the House was. The House took a much more timid approach. If anything, I suspect conservatives in the House might wish we had done more than they were able to do. But remember, the perfect bill that only gets 217 votes in the House or 49 votes in the Senate is worth nothing. And this bill is critical to Donald Trump's agenda of, first of all, keeping taxes low and then even lowering them further, adding to the child tax credit, adding to the standard deduction, which is really important to middle-income Americans, the tax on tips, the tax on overtime. These are major accomplishments for us, and even the Medicaid stuff. And by the way, getting rid of a lot of the junk in the IRA, the very inefficient electricity generation, for example, by wind and solar that's been subsidized for almost 35 years now, and putting more of an emphasis on baseload electricity and reliable grid as opposed to this sort of barely hanging on grid that we have right now. There's so many good things here for the Trump agenda that at this point I think it's time for a binary choice. And yes is the obvious answer.
Well, as you can expect, Democrats are also weighing in on the Medicaid changes. They say that the idea that this bill is kicking illegal immigrants off of Medicaid, that there is no federal provision for that. Here's what Senator Coons had to say.
The federal funding under Medicaid does not go to people who are not American. There are states that are using their state funding to provide health care for people who are undocumented.
Are you concerned that all the Medicaid cuts will hit American citizens, lead to fewer services for them?
I really am not. First of all, many states have so abused actually the legal tools that they have in Medicaid to the point where it's become such on one hand, a Ponzi scheme, and on another hand, really a money laundering operation that funds very liberal states' policies and actually scrapes money right off the top from the federal taxpayer. The fact, for example, that Medicaid in the last 4 years under Joe Biden has accelerated so quickly that the state taxes that many states are using has quadrupled. In that same time frame, the federal outlay has grown 800%. That's the federal taxpayers' funding to the states has gone up 800%. So we have to stop this because there'll be no Medicaid for anybody if we don't get it under control. And no, I'm not worried about it. In fact, I think the faster we pass this bill, the quicker Americans will see the benefits that they receive from this bill. And there'll be great rewards going forward for Republicans who have had the courage to stand up and do the tough work.
Some Republicans have also been concerned about the price tag here. It raises the debt ceiling. It would very likely add to the national debt. Are Republicans going to have to come back later in this year or next year and do more deficit reduction?
Absolutely, and we can do that. Remember, we have some rescission packages to deal with as well. The White House has sent a rescission package that relates to public broadcasting that I'm quite certain we should be able to pass with a simple majority that will reduce some of the spending. And we have 2 more opportunities within this Congress to use budget years 26 and 27 to do reconciliation again. But when you get to that point, now you really have to get out the scalpel. You have to go line by line, as Ron Johnson often says, through the entire budget and make sure you're doing the right things and doing no harm while doing great good. But I don't think we've given adequate, frankly, weight to the fact that this bill that we're going to pass this weekend will grow the economy enormously. And we saw that the last time in 2017. It's going to be even more this time. I do think that this is a deficit reduction bill when you consider, particularly with the regulations that the Trump administration is cutting and revising, when you consider the trade deals, when you consider even some of the revenue that's coming in from tariffs, and then just add to that the certainty that this tax bill is going to provide businesses and investment. You're going to see, I think you're going to see budget deficit reductions as a result of this bill alone.
Yeah, well, the ratings agencies aren't too bullish on the American fiscal future. We'll see how it plays out. Senator Kevin Cramer, thanks so much.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Hey, it's Will Kane. Click here to subscribe to the Fox News channel on YouTube. It's the best way to get our latest interviews and highlights. And click to subscribe to the Will Kane podcast for full episodes right now.